So I was asked recently how I keep track of all the metadata when I'm doing lens tests, how I keep track of what lens something was shot on and quickly search for it and come back and reference it. And the way that I do that is through the metadata system in DaVinci Resolve. So here's a quick tutorial of how to set that up. So here in a project, I'm just editing the footage from the European Lens Summit workshops that I did recently. I've got a few lens tests videos coming out, including that one. And first of all, we're going to go up to Preferences and User Preferences inside of Resolve, and we've got this Metadata tab here. So in there, you can set up presets for the metadata panel to basically decide which fields will be shown to you, so it can make it a lot quicker to enter the info that you want. So I have this lens test preset set up, and if we go and have a look at this, if I go and edit, we can go down and see what we've included. And the only fields we've included there under the camera tab, so you can basically open and close these little tabs like this. And I've got camera aperture, filter, focal point, and lens type selected. So you can come in and do that. You then have to come up here and click save and give it a name if it's a new preset, and then save out of that as well. And then up here, we're in the media page here, and in the top right, we can turn on the metadata tab, and then we get this metadata panel and the three little dots menu here. Then we can select our metadata preset. So in the default, you get all of these fields, and it's kind of, you'd have to jump around to find the things that you're trying to fill out. So we don't really want that. So we want to have all groups selected in the little sorting menu, and we want our lens test preset. And there we have just those 4 fields that we've selected. So then I would go through, and I'm looking at the board. This is my board system. I know lots of people have been using this recently. I'll put a link down in the description to grab the Google Sheets to set this up. But for anyone who doesn't know, basically you have a laptop off to the side, and the laptop and the iPad that you're using as the board are both loaded up in the same Google Sheets document. And then you can edit the information, enter the information for each board on the laptop, and it automatically updates live on the iPad. So use that as a clapperboard, basically, instead of a clapperboard. And there's also a record button which records a take into a spreadsheet, so you've then also got a spreadsheet of all of the information as you've gone along as well, all kind of saved, which can be really useful. So in this case, we are on a Cooke full frame. So that's the Cooke Pancro full frame. I'm at 2 1/3. And it is a 50mm, and there's no filters, no NDs, no filters. So I would go through and basically enter all the info for all of these shots all the way through the test. And then what I would do is, if you come over to the color page, and I will need to put these into a timeline first. There we go. Go over to the color page, and we go up to workspace and data burn-in. And now what we can do is create a custom burn-in using the metadata that we entered in the metadata page. So to do that, we come to custom text and check the box there. And then we want to basically use wildcards to write down what we want here. So if we go to focal point, so that's going to give us the 50 of the 50mm. So we might go 50mm, lowercase, and I might want to put in maybe I want to put the lens type in here. So to enter wildcards, you do the percentage sign, and then I could put lens type, and I want a little space between those two, or you could put a dash, whatever you want. I think I'll just leave that as a space. Cooke Pancro full frame 50mm, and I could put maybe an at camera aperture at 2 1/3. There we go. And there's no filtration. I didn't really use any filters in this test, so I wouldn't bother with that. So I'd put that there, and then I might put another custom text and say Euro Lens Summit, and put that up the top as like a title. And maybe what I would do is I'd slide this one across to the side over to there, And you do have to play around a little bit with the orientation of this, because if it's like this is center aligned, if I make it left aligned or right aligned, then it's going to sit nicer. So if I want it on the right hand side, I need to make it, I think, right aligned, so that it always sits on the right hand side no matter how long the text is, because obviously the names of the lenses is going to be different length. So if I right align it, anchor it to the right hand side, then it will stay there. And I might add a third custom text, which is just going to be, I don't know if we've got camera manufacturer. We have camera manufacturer. We have, what are the data have we got in there? I might just manually put, because all of the tests in this were on the Blackmagic 17K. So I might just enter that manually, but again, that could be metadata, and you could be entering that if you're testing a bunch of different cameras. And then basically what I would do is I would, an anchor point, annoyingly, is for all of the clips. I do remember this being a bit of an issue before, that for some reason, I don't understand, you can't affect the anchor of all of individual clips. Blackmagic, please fix this. You can only do all of the clips at once, which is pretty annoying, because you want to be able to lay out things exactly the way you want it. But yeah, that would be okay for now, I think. And I could just roll this one across to be more central, otherwise that's going to drive me crazy. So now back in the media tab, if we select all the clips and go to clip attributes, we can give the clip name, instead of being, this is not the file name, it's not going to affect the file, but this is the clip name in Resolve, and we can give that wildcards. So again, we can type the percentage, and we could call that lens type underscore focal point millimeters underscore. I'm going to leave the aperture actually, because I think that's going to get a bit weird with the slashes, so I'm just going to leave it at lens type and focal point and click OK. And now you can see that our Cooke Pancro has come up with that first shot that we set up has come up with that as the clip name. And now we can really easily, if we had loads and loads of clips in here, we can really easily come in and type Cooke, and all of the clips with Cooke lenses will come up. So that's how I do that. And then either I'm searching in Resolve for stuff, or to be honest, a lot of stuff I just have a folder on my Frame.io, and I'm just going in there and looking for stuff based on the burn-ins in the files itself, in the exports. So that's how I manage the metadata when I'm doing lens tests. Thanks for watching.